So here we are. We're out in this 565 R Haines Hunter. And it's a very special day for me because we're actually out with one of the greatest offshore fishermen, inshore too, fishermen in Australia, Peter Pakula. Now, if you're not familiar with that name, Peter Pakula, you haven't been on any game fishing boat right around the world, you haven't been on a fishing blog, you've never been to a tackle store. Because Peter Pakula has invented and innovated a huge amount of fishing techniques and tackle that has become everyday. Now, he's probably not going to say he's won nearly every game fishing, you know, stuff like Flathead Classics, he went in that once and won it. You know, he's won, he's had granders and grand slams, and he's got a trophy case that you would just only dream of. Looks like it should be in a sporting club. Now, thanks for coming out today, Pete.
Thanks, Aaron. So we've been at the nice little Haines Hunter. You told me to come and have a look. It's a Haines Hunter. I mean, you don't need to know anything else, mate.
It's a Haines Hunter. You don't need to know anything else. And the Haines Hunter and a Yamaha is, in my opinion, the best package. Now, Pete, what do you think about Australian boat builders? Where do you put Haines Hunter?
The thing about Australian products worldwide, in the marine and even in the tackle industry, we're regarded as the best. And that's because we fish the dumbest conditions on the planet. For example, when you go down to Victoria, and they fish some absolutely horrendous seas, far worse than anywhere else in Australia, and you go to the boat ramp and just watch the boats coming out. So many of them are Haines Hunters. I went down to fish the Portland Tuna tournament a couple of years ago with Paul Hamuz in a Haines Hunter 585, and we won the tournament. And he was taught by Brad Parkinson, who has a Patriot, a Haines Patriot. Just about all the boats down there are Haines Hunters. And you can sort of see that over the years, Haines Hunter has proven and maintained the fact that they're a great boat as a sea boat, but not just as a sea boat. The finish on them is fantastic. If your wife has got anything to do with you buying a boat, show her a Haines Hunter. She will absolutely love it. Right? The finish is spectacular. That's what they look for. And as a sea boat, nothing's better. Now, when John Haber builds them, a lot of boats look like a Haines Hunter, but they're not as heavy. You know, it's a deep V, ocean-going, rough water, choppy sea running boat. You need the weight. And the Haines Hunter is pretty much the only boat that does it these days. Everybody's gone paper thin, paper light, in the idea that you're going to get fuel economy. You might, because you're not going to use your boat. You'll go out in the rough once, and then it'll sit in the garage or in the shed for another 5 years before you've got the guts to go out in it again. Haines Hunter will get you there.
Now, what I've been saying is Haines Hunter's built an incredible reputation in Australia for big trophy offshore boats. But they also build family boats. And at Brisbane Yamaha, we're stocking the lot. Now, this is a 565R, skiing, offshore fishing, everything you want. And if you're a family, the most important thing is safety, its design, and somewhere down the track, you're probably going to sell the boat. And with Haines Hunter, there's no greater resale. And why I bring these things up is it just adds peace of mind. Now, Pete, in your times of being in a Haines Hunter and winning tournaments, going to the factory, there was a time where you were one of the judges in Australia's greatest boats.
Yeah.
And tell us about what you thought about Haines Hunter's ride and their hull. Because like I said earlier, a lot of boats in Australia have been copied on a Haines Hunter, but there's not many perfect boats, are there?
Well, you know, a perfect boat, you're going to change it as soon as you get it anyway. You're going to move things and put things in it. You know, with my little boat that I'm building at the moment, you know, it's not a standard boat. You know, people like to customise everything. You know, with a Haines Hunter, and I'll tell you a quick little story.
Yeah.
In the late 80s, I wanted to start trailer boat game fishing, and what really wasn't done before that. You know, people caught the odd marlin, and I set up a 445 Haines, right, as a fully fledged game boat. It was called Cockroach. Had every single thing that any other game boat's got on it: GPS, plotters, 2 sounders, 25-foot outriggers. When you got a bite on the outrigger, this boat would spin. And I used to fish for blue marlin off that. We won a bunch of tournaments off it, and it was just a pocket little game boat that cost almost nothing to run.
And that was when was that?
This was in the late 80s, early 90s.
It was Cockroach.
It was called the Cockroach.
Now, interesting enough, if you look that up, that boat's famous, and all of the pocket rocket market at the moment, it's very popular, as you know. Peter Pakula really started it, because up until then you would never think about taking a boat under 5 metres out there, 50, 80 k's off and catching marlin. So, really, if you were looking for a boat, whether it's a 5 metre boat, your first family boat, or a 7.6 full custom built fishing weapon, what would you tell people about Haines Hunter?
Well, the thing about Haines is they're really well built, and face it, everything's expensive now. You're spending a lot of money on a boat. Haines Hunter will last you your lifetime, or as long as you want to keep it, and when you sell it, you'll get most of your money back, if not all of it back. Nearly all the old Haineses are selling for more than they were new, and that's impossible to believe. But buy a boat, use it for 5 years, and sell it for more than you bought it for. Unbelievable.
Haines Hunter and Yamaha. If you're looking for a boat, Brisbane Yamaha. We've got all of Australia's best brands under one huge roof. 3888 1727.